The 140th commencement of Boston University is now in order. Please rise for the national anthem to be led by Ms. Stephanie Gray, who is graduating with her bachelor's degree in music from the College of Fine Arts. Following the anthem, please stay standing for the invocation.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The invocation will be delivered by Rabbi Michael Bayo, Executive Director of the Hillel House at Boston University. Thereafter, President Brown will preside at the ceremony.
Our Father in heaven, Rock and Redeemer, bless this assembly. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who lead us. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless this institution with peace and its students with lasting joy. Almighty God, look down from your sanctified abode and bless this great university, the trustees, the president, staff, faculty, officers, and above all, the students and their families. Benevolent God, be their shelter and fortress, and do not allow them to falter. Nay, let them falter, but let them be stronger for it. Give them the wisdom to learn from their mistakes, and grant them the courage to make these mistakes. Lord, our God, bestow among these students a hand that is always outstretched to a neighbor in need, and bestow among them a sense of modesty to accept help when they need it themselves. Bless them, our Father, with an open heart, always ready to receive a friend. Guide them in peace and link them towards peace. Protect them in their journeys wherever they roam. May these journeys take them to reach great heights. Please, Lord, we ask that you shield them when they fall low. Fill their hearts with a faith that never wavers. Grant them the strength of character to stand up for their faith, their conviction, and for what is right and just. Give them the fortitude to fight against the odds, and may they be victorious. Almighty God, these students are embarking on a new chapter in their lives, and we ask that they will always be protected and guided. May the knowledge, friendship, and bonds acquired at this great institution bring honor to their future endeavors and families. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'ychuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And let us say Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to Boston University's commencement exercises. It is a pleasure to welcome the graduates and their guests, and also to welcome those of you who are joining us via broadcast on the radio and the internet. We are gathered this afternoon to celebrate the achievements of our wonderful graduates in all that is purposeful and good in a university dedicated to bettering the human condition through education, research, and service. We celebrate a scant 4 weeks and 6 days after the finish line bombings at the Boston Marathon. Craven, deliberate acts that claimed the lives of 3 innocents and injured 250 more. Attacks which transformed the marathon from a celebration of striving for excellence, whether a personal best or a world record, into tragedy. We have felt the effects of these attacks acutely. Our graduate student, Lu Lingzi, lost her life at the finish line. Another graduate student, Zhao Danling, was seriously injured. We lost a prospective student, 8-year-old Martin Richard, a 3rd grader at the neighborhood charter school in Dorchester, who had professed his intention to attend Boston University. As they do every year, members of our community, physicians, therapists, and trainers, and student volunteers staffed the medical tent at the finish line. This year, instead of treating blisters and dehydration, members of our medical team hastened bravely to save the lives of grievously wounded spectators. I will name the members of the team who helped save lives. Dr. Matthew Pitchey, Dr. Douglas Camo, Mark Lawson, Larry Vinis, Drew Duckert, Brent Hemula. In addition, our 19 student volunteers, mainly from the athletic training program, stepped into supporting roles well beyond what they signed up for. These individuals represent Boston University at its best. We are proud of them as we are proud of the graduates whose accomplishments and potential we now turn to celebrate. I now present Adolfo Gatti, a senior who today will receive his bachelor's degree from the College of Arts and Sciences. He will speak on behalf of the class of 2013. Mr. Gatti.
Thank you, Mr. President, faculty, staff, deans, honored guests, and most importantly, Boston University 2013! We made it! Many of us envisioned this day the very moment we stepped into BU. Through hard work and determination, we now find ourselves where we imagined. Some of us are happy, some disappointed. Some do not care. But I am sure that all of us share that same feeling, that little spark of desire, wishing we could still be in senior year of high school to relive it all. The acceptance letter. The following months of total slack and neglect of any academic assignment that will amount to a meaningless grade, the best summer of our lives, and finally, the first day of college. Seems like yesterday. That would mean that a whole lot of things happened between yesterday and today. Orientation. When you realize people come from so many different places, but really, they all come from the tri-state area. Splash. When you realize so many useless gadgets can be suddenly really attractive. First day of classes, first essay, first basement party. The first time I needed my roommate to help me find my way home. And the first time I needed a home without a roommate. I remember the first time I conceived beating the Reds challenge and quickly having to give up at the thought of digesting half a liter of root beer mixed with 19 scoops of Super Sundae. Yuck. Though, what truly made these 4 years, this experience special, is this place, Boston University. 33,000 people is a city. And this is not just a city, it's a diverse city. As you might have heard from my accent, sono italiano. I'm Italian. Yes, we can be loud. My roommate is an African-American film major. That's Kamal Skillings. My apartment mates are a Japanese finance genius and a Hispanic pre-med student. Looking at my group of friends, I find that we, terriers, are a melting pot of interests and passions. Poets, singers, engineers, chemists, diplomats, philosophers, managers, consultants, and others who simply live to have fun. I truly hope for all of your sakes that in your groups of friends there's a pre-med of the 4.0 variety. You'll need them one day. I hope you know a management student who can take care of your future savings. Yes, you guys. I hope you know one of those guys who will take care of your future savings without causing a real estate bubble that will ultimately trigger a world financial crisis. I hope your friends are a religiously dedicated football fan. And a goofy friend who will convince you that Quidditch is a real sport. When you step out of here, you realize how having known or simply talked to this multitude of personalities has given you the most valuable tool to face life. The ability of opening your minds to others, listening to their opinions, challenging them, adopting their customs, their hobbies, and even their way of speaking. Every day confronting yourselves with their worlds, finding a synthesis that will shape you and make you stronger. Our minds are galaxies of knowledge and emotions that all interconnect in one great universe. Some might have similar stars, similar fires and interests. Some might have very different ones. But that's okay, because that is what makes us stronger. That is BU. So when you go and write your CVs and have your interviews, don't just tell them your GPA. Don't just tell them your standardized test scores. Show them you understand diversity. Show them you understand the world. Tell them you're a Boston University student and not just a student at Boston University. Tell them you're a terrier. The people we met here, positively or negatively, shaped our minds and who we are. I am proud and satisfied of the people I met here. They enriched my character and expanded my ideas. I hope you are too. Most importantly, though, I hope that here you met those people with whom you're going to build a life together, on whom you're ready to lean in your future moments of need, and for whom you're willing to give everything you've got. As Robert Brault once said, I value the friend who for me finds time in his calendar, but I cherish the friend who for me does not consult his calendar. I love you, terriers. I love you, BU. Good luck, and arrivederci.
Thank you, Mr. Gotti. I would now like to call Michael DeFilippo, as graduating senior from the College of Communications.
Thank you, President Brown. Today, we begin our lives as alumni. We reflect on what we have learned in BU's classrooms and beyond, on the great friendships we have made, on the organizations and activities of which we were a part, and on those who have touched our lives as our mentors and as our teachers. Boston University has given us so much in 4 short years, so now it's our time to give back. Following the tradition of those who came before us, the members of the class of 2013 are proud to donate to BU's annual funds in honor of our mentors and in gratitude for the experiences and opportunities which we were given. These gifts will allow those who follow us to enjoy the same great BU experience we enjoyed. This year's class gift campaign was outstanding. With some 2,300 participants, it was once again the most successful class gift campaign in BU history. This unprecedented achievement would not have been possible without the overwhelming generosity of our class. We are proud to contribute now, and we look forward to continuing to support our great university as active alumni. President Brown, on behalf of Boston University's newest alumni, we are pleased to announce the 2013 class gift for the amount of $44,864. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you, the class of 2013. The class gift is a tangible expression of your commitment to Boston University. This commitment began when you first enrolled as students and is confirmed today as you move into the ranks of alumni. In the life of a university, faculty come and go, presidents come and go, but alumni are its constant and unending link to the past, present, and future. I am now pleased to present Shadi Dahir, President of the Boston University Alumni Council, who will speak to you on behalf of the Alumni Association. Mr. Dahir.
Congratulations, class of 2013. On behalf of the more than 300,000 Boston University alumni who have come before you, I offer you all a well-deserved and heartfelt congratulations on the completion of your degrees. Just as President Brown said, today you become the one permanent constituency of this great family. Your relationship status with Boston University will be unchangeable. You are alumni. And on behalf of all of the BU alumni, I welcome you to your association. Today, you join an exclusive network which, while not small, includes leaders, creators, opinion shapers the world over. Wherever your lives and careers take you, you will never be too far from a fellow BU alum. You will find BU alumni in 188 of the 196 nations of the globe, and alumni activities in 58 countries. And if you don't find one, make one. Your years at Boston University will certainly shape the rest of your life, and the events of the past several weeks will be forever ingrained in your memory. Just as you were completing your studies, you were forced to deal with tragedy. You experienced the loss. You came together as a community, and you taught us all a lesson of strength, love, and perseverance. You should be proud of what you have accomplished the past four years, and know that your fellow alumni share your pride. But you should also know that with our pride come great expectations. As you probably know, the term alumnus is derived from a Latin word which means to nourish or sustain. Certainly, we have been nourished as students. No one is better prepared to leave a mark on the world and make it a better place. And now, as alumni, it is our time. It is our time to sustain. It is our time to nourish. It is our time to support BU. We have an opportunity and the responsibility to ensure the greatness of Boston University for those who follow. Your BU Alumni Association is here to help you fulfill these responsibilities and take advantage of those opportunities. Whether it's through attending one of the more than 1,000 alumni meetings or events, or through interacting with fellow alumni on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or even face-to-face, we look forward to a lifelong relationship. And yes, we need you to continue the incredible tradition of philanthropy begun with your class gift, a class gift that has, again, set a record of participation never before seen in the history of our alma mater. Many people will state with envy that the last 4 years have been the best years of your life, but I know better. You are BU 2013 great. You are BU alumni. Your best years are ahead of you, and like those who have come before you, you will change the world. Keep in touch, share your successes and your challenges with us, and visit us from time to time. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Thank you, Dr. Dahir. Teaching is an art. It is also one of the most important functions of a university, as it helps to mold the next generation of informed citizens and creative thinkers, many of whom sit in front of me today. The late Dr. Arthur G.B. Metcalf, an alumnus, faculty member, and trustee, founded and endowed the Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching at Boston University to recognize great practitioners of this art. Candidates for the award are nominated by members of the Boston University community and a committee and faculty and students then submits its recommendations to the university provost and to me. It is indeed difficult to select a winner of the Metcalf Cup and Prize because all of the candidates are outstanding. 2 finalists in the competition will receive the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean of Arts and Sciences, Virginia Shapiro, please present the winner of the 2013 Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching?
President Brown, I have the honor to present Professor John Finnerty, the 2013 Metcalf Award winner.
Over the course of his 14 years at BU, Professor John Finnerty's infectiously interactive classroom style has immersed students in the full scientific process, from forming hypotheses to producing scientific deliverables for society at large. He pursues a singular philosophy to teach students how to be scientists with a commitment to intellectual honesty and a lifelong curiosity about the world around them. Professor Finnerty's nominators describe him as, without question, one of the most dedicated and effective teachers in both the classroom and laboratory. They cite his efforts in the development of new courses in pedagogy, the integration of teaching and research activities, and the mentorship of undergraduate and graduate students in original research. They also cite his unique ability to connect with students, challenging them to think critically and contribute to discussion. With generous helpings of humor and enthusiasm, one writes, Professor Finnerty engages students with his creativity and his highly accessible style while providing a thoughtful and scientifically rigorous treatment of the subject at hand. Whether studying the impact of global climate change on coral reefs or the early evolution of animal genomes and body plans, Students who enter his classes and labs are asked to approach scientific inquiry through multiple disciplines, often incorporating genomics, genetics, molecular biology, developmental biology, and ecology into their research. Well-rounded researchers are the result. 21st century scientists able to consider multiple perspectives in answering some of biology's most vexing questions. World-class researcher, innovative educator, and gifted motivator of aspiring students, Professor Finnerty inspires in his students a passion for science that cannot be found in a textbook, in turn giving them the tools for a lifetime of discovery. Boston University proudly presents Professor John Finnerty with the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean Hardin Coleman of the School of Education please present the winner of the 2013 Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching?
President Brown, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to present Professor Carol Jenkins as a 2013 Metcalf Award winner.
Professor Carol Jenkins. Professor Carol Jenkins has for 23 years earned praise preparing aspiring educators for both the rigor and reward of classroom teaching. Evaluations of Professor Jenkins are routinely sprinkled with such words as knowledgeable, passionate, creative, and dedicated to describe a teaching style that combines original pedagogy with immersion in demanding real-world classroom settings. Among those settings is the William Monroe Trotter Elementary School in Dorchester, where BU students collaborate closely with Trotter faculty in a unique partnership developed by Professor Jenkins. Many BU students report being transformed by the program, inspired by the experience, and deeply motivated to make a difference in their own classrooms. What raises Professor Jenkins beyond the many excellent teachers at BU is the role she has played in creating outstanding career pathways for her students, writes one nominator. Her students are equally enthusiastic. Carol Jenkins is hands down the best professor I've had at BU, writes one. Another writes, Carol Jenkins is amazing. I wish I had her as my teacher in elementary school. She's become my role model, and I aspire to be as awesome as she is. Professor Jenkins challenges students intellectually and emotionally to explore divergent views, to develop a passion for teaching, and to put into practice what they're learning, from lesson plans and curriculum development to thoughtful interaction with children. This learning process never ends. Professor Jenkins has developed lifelong connections with her students, many now award-winning teachers themselves. A classroom teacher by training at heart, Professor Jenkins exemplifies the commitment to excellence, to public service, and to the long-term success of her students that go to the heart of our aspirations as educators. For this reason, Boston University is pleased to present Professor Carol Jenkins with the Metcalf Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Dean Karen Antman of the School of Medicine present the winner of the 2013 Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching?
Mr. President, I have the honor and privilege to present Professor Deborah Vaughn for the Metcalf Cup and Prize.
Thank you. For more than 30 years, Professor Deborah Vaughn's commitment to educational innovation has inspired students and colleagues alike to take their own medical research and pedagogical methods to the next level. An early adopter of instructional technologies, she has championed new teaching tools and methods to address students' individual learning styles. By leading regular faculty workshops through BU's Center for Excellence and Innovation in Teaching, she enthusiastically extends her approach to fellow instructors around the university. In the words of one nominator, I quote, "Dr. Vaughn's greatest attribute is fostering the development of future physicians, scientists, and educators in the biomedical sciences. Her passion for the craft is almost palpable. I have not seen anyone more committed to teaching and education. She works tirelessly, holds her students to the highest standards, and each year instills hundreds of students in the excitement and rewards of learning." Writes another, "She is an excellent role model for young faculty seeking guidance as they assume new teaching roles. She's excited about continuous improvement, is one of the select few who embrace change, especially when it is for the betterment of curriculum and/or for student learning." Central to Professor Vaughn's philosophy are a respect for her students and an expectation for their high achievement. For Professor Vaughn, this means providing not only a grounding in the fundamentals of anatomy and neuroscience, but also regular discussions about professionalism and compassion toward colleagues and patients. The result is a teacher and mentor perennially praised by legions of medical, dental, and graduate students, and twice awarded the Medical Campus Educator of the Year honor. Peerless practitioner, technological trailblazer, and generous mentor to countless students and faculty over the years, Professor Vaughn is that rare teacher and leader who continues to grow, to learn, and to inspire her students and demand of herself a relentless devotion to excellence in medicine and compassion for others. It is with great pride that Boston University presents Professor Deborah Vaughn the university's highest teaching award, the Metcalf Cup and Prize for Excellence in Teaching. It is now my pleasure to ask Trustee Alan Leventhal to escort our honored guest to the podium.
Mr. President.
Trustee Leventhal.
Mr. President, I have the honor and the privilege to present the esteemed and beloved Mayor of the City of Boston, Thomas Menino, for the Boston University Medallion.
Thomas Menino, the length of time you've served as mayor of Boston is unequal in the history of this city, and certainly worth noting. When measured against all that you have achieved over the course of these years, however, it is by itself a mere footnote for the true measure of what can only be called the Menino era. Is not the calendar, but the unparalleled list of your accomplishments and your example of character, integrity, and devotion to public service. We appreciate in particular your attention to education at all levels in Boston. You've worked to bring about meaningful reforms in the city public schools. You have forged partnerships between higher education and the public schools in order to draw on the talent and energy of our faculties and student bodies, some that you hear this afternoon. While mayors across the nation have tried with little or no success, you have developed a reasonable and fair system for all schools to share voluntarily in supporting city services, and we're proud to have stood with you on this effort. Of special note, you have recognized the role of universities and colleges in strengthening the economic and cultural life of the city. And with this in mind, you have been an outstanding partner to the rational planning and development of campus facilities throughout Boston. In recognition of all that you have achieved through your distinguished career, Boston University will henceforth name its long-standing Merit Scholarship Program for graduates of Boston Public Schools as the Thomas M. Menino Scholarship Program. Recipients of these scholarships will be known as Menino Scholars. In a token of this, we proudly present to you the Boston University Medallion. Will Trustee Kenneth Menges escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Menges.
Mr. President, I have the distinct honor to present Morgan Freeman for Boston University's honorary degree.
You first demonstrated your abilities as a performer at the age of 12, but it wasn't until you reached the half-century mark that you achieved stardom and your first Oscar nomination. Since then, you have continued to build an extraordinary career in the cinema, and audiences around the world have been the beneficiaries of your creative genius, either on stage or in front of the camera. We are grateful for both your perseverance and your performances. Your voice alone should be sufficient. Your voice alone should be sufficient to ensure stardom, but it's just one of many exceptional tools to be found in your inventory. You can sing and dance, have appeared in small theaters and on Broadway. You can do Shakespeare, children's television, and even a soap opera. It's been through film, though, that the world has become your audience. Some actors seem to present the same character across different roles. Good performers are able to demonstrate a range in their acting, portraying a diversity of credible characters. Only the great ones can achieve a span as broad and as fully believable as you do. You have appeared as a pimp, a convict, a cowboy, and a chauffeur. You've been a general, director of the CIA, president of the United States, and of South Africa. Topping your roles, at least in rank, you've twice played God. In all of your roles, you become the character before our eyes. What enriches so many of them is how you infuse the people you play with warmth, wisdom, and a deep understanding of the human condition. We trust, respect, and like the character as well as the actor portraying him. Morgan Freeman, actor, narrator, and producer, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
I have nothing new to say to you. You already know you're graduating from one of the greatest universities on the planet. You already know that dedication, hard work, and perseverance give positive results. So I can only say to you, congratulations, and to this great university, thanks for this great honor. Thank you.
Will Trustee Richard Godfrey escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Godfrey.
Mr. President, I have the privilege and the honor of presenting Robert Langer for a Boston University honorary degree.
You have been called a Superman of science. That well may be an understatement. You maintain an exhausting pace in your laboratory, pursuing your work with nearly boundless energy and inexhaustible creativity. The amazing results can be seen in the hundreds of patents you hold, the dozens of companies you and your students have started, and most especially in the countless lives improved and in many cases saved around the world thanks to your discoveries. Nearly 4 decades ago, with a newly minted doctorate in chemical engineering, you might have followed your fellow graduates into the petroleum or chemical industries. Instead, you followed your passion in your heart into the field of medicine. A cancer researcher at Children's Hospital welcomed you into his lab, where you applied the knowledge and fresh insights of an engineer to medical challenges. One such challenge was devising a method for delivering large molecules through a polymer delivery system in a controlled manner in order to fight cancer. This was considered impossible, yet you found a way to do it. Ever since, you have been a pioneer and a leader in developing new technologies and methods for getting drugs into the body and directly to targeted cells, from transdermal delivery systems to the use of nanoparticles. Your work is as broad as it is deep as you explore methods for tissue engineering and new ways of diagnosing diseases. More than a researcher, you are a great teacher and mentor, and in this you find your greatest satisfaction, taking pride in the successes of your many students, an army of whom have gone on to become professors themselves and leaders in industry. Robert S. Langer, engineer, teacher, and saver of lives, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Will Trustee Sharon Ryan escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Ryan.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Bishop Peter Weaver for Boston's honorary degree.
Throughout your life, from the time you were born to your service as a Methodist bishop, you have never been far from the parsonage. You have dedicated your life to reaching out to your neighbors, locally and around the world, with a passion for sharing God's gift of transforming love. You began life as a son of a pastor in a small Pennsylvania town, and you were ordained a deacon at the age of 22. As a young man, you spent time on the campus of Boston University, where you earned your doctorate degree in theology. And years later, in 2004, you returned here as a trustee. In the intervening decades, you lived a life that was both rich and humble. The riches came from family and flock, and the humility was shown in the way you treated all people as friends worthy of respect. Throughout your life of service, you have been dedicated to a mission of discipleship, transforming city churches in Pittsburgh into thriving communities, founding a shelter for women, leading an AIDS ministry and ecumenical group to counter racism, and chairing a campus ministry program. When you were elected bishop, you chose simplicity and inclusiveness over pomp in your installation ceremony. Prior to a modest ceremony held at an historic African-American congregation, shelter residents dined alongside corporate executives at a picnic in a church parking lot to celebrate the occasion. With our roots as a Methodist seminary, it is fitting that a Methodist bishop serve on our board of trustees, and Boston University is the better for your wisdom and your compassion. We are grateful for your service. Bishop Peter Weaver, alumnus, pastor, and friend, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Will trustees Andrea Taylor and Robert Knox escort our honored guest to the podium?
Mr. President.
Trustee Taylor.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Wendy Kopp for Boston University's honorary degree.
As a college senior, you wondered what you might do with your life. You wanted more than just a job. You wanted to find significance and meaning in your work. Such thoughts surely are universal, but few act on them as you did. Earlier in college, you had noticed that students who came from poor communities struggled to keep up. You felt that accidents of birth, placing a child into poverty, or schools with limited opportunities were inherently unfair, and that we all were diminished when potential goes unmet. Then you had an idea. Just as John Kennedy had created the Peace Corps, which attracted talented people with a commitment to serving communities overseas, we could create a Teachers Corps, which would recruit bright and able young college graduates to teach in inner city and rural schools across the nation. When the government would not take on this challenge, you stepped up and did so yourself, forming Teach for America. Some know from an early age that they want to become teachers, enroll in schools of education. But others come to the decision later, after pursuing a different course of study, perhaps mathematics or science or literature, or any of the fields found in our universities. You provide these people with a pathway to the classroom, offering intense training in exchange for a 2-year commitment. More than 20 years later, the organization you founded and led with vision and determination is a thriving enterprise, greatly benefiting children throughout the land and enriching the lives of your recruits. Teach for All, which you founded in 2007, serves students and teachers around the world. Many of your alumni remain as teachers, and all remain as committed advocates of educational opportunity. Perhaps your greatest lesson of all is that an idea formed with the students' idealism and pursued with determination can indeed improve the world. Wendy Kopp, idealist, educator, and leader, Boston University is proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. I now call on Wendy Kopp to present the 140th commencement address of Boston University.
Thank you, President Brown, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, friends, parents, and most importantly, graduates of Boston University's class of 2013. So I'm Wendy Kopp. I'm the person responsible for those persistent Teach for America recruiters who have been after you all year. I feel tremendously privileged to be able to celebrate this day with you and to be here at BU, a school that has given Teach for America and the world so many incredible leaders. BU's School of Education, where are you guys? We are so lucky to have a strong partnership with the Ed School. You've helped train and develop our core members since we started working here in Massachusetts. So thank you, Dean Coleman, and all those who are working with our teachers and students. It's an honor to share the stage with my fellow honorees, Professor Robert Langer, Bishop Peter Weaver, Mayor Menino, whose name is synonymous with Boston and public service, and of course, the incomparable Morgan Freeman. You all know him as a legendary actor, but you may not know that he's also a dedicated education advocate. He's been supporting our work in the Mississippi Delta, his home, for over a decade. Now, since everything sounds better when it's narrated by Morgan Freeman, I thought I would just turn over my speech and have him read it. He may have starred in the movie, but I got to check something off my own bucket list recently when I was finally retweeted by Dean Elmore. This guy has 13,000 Twitter followers. Our Teach for America folks on campus told him, "Dean, we've noticed you haven't retweeted us yet." He responded, "I only retweet things that are witty." This is a big day, and I know you're probably feeling that strange mix of emotions that come with the cap and gown. You feel relieved. You're finally getting that diploma, except the unlucky ones who accidentally stepped on the BU seal. You know who you are. You feel grateful to the friends and family who supported you every step of the way. Let's hear it for them. And I certainly hope you feel very proud. I particularly want to recognize those of you who are the first in your families to graduate from college. This year, I know your joy is tempered by a sense of loss. BU is such a large and diverse campus. It can be easy to forget at times that you're all part of the same community. But some events have always brought you together, none more so than Marathon Monday. Like everyone else, I watched with horror as the news unfolded on Patriots' Day. As I struggled to comprehend and to find the right words to say to a community that has endured this tragedy firsthand, I thought about the beautiful sculpture on Marsh Plaza dedicated to BU's most famous alum, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The sculpture features 50 birds to represent the 50 states, and legend has it that when the world is finally at peace, the birds will fly away. On April 15, that day felt very distant. Suddenly, problems half a world away were brought to our doorstep. Dr. King was right. We are tied together in the single garment of destiny. And today that garment wraps tightly around the globe. In ways good and bad, our world is more interconnected than ever before. At a time when conflict spills across national borders and injustice anywhere is a threat to security and prosperity everywhere, we cannot ignore violence, deprivation, or repression wherever it exists. We must broaden the definition of who our neighbors are and extend the boundaries of our interest and empathy. You've done that at BU, a university that's not only global, but globally minded. 40% of undergraduates studied abroad during your time here. And today, you join the ranks of alumni who include civil rights leaders like Barbara Jordan, and by my count, at least 4 heads of state. Today, you become the stewards of BU's long legacy of promoting social justice. So, as you continue your journey as BU graduates, the question you face is, what will you do to confront the root causes of violence and injustice in our world? When there is so much injustice to fight, where do you even begin? There's no how-to guide for how to change the world, but it's easy to get hung up by misconceptions about what it takes to make an impact. So today, I hope to make the way forward a little less daunting by debunking a few of the myths that I've encountered and have heard so often. The first myth is one that I'm intimately familiar with, since it's what most people think that my story is about. It's the misconception that changing the world is about coming up with a big idea. When I started Teach for America, I wasn't trying to come up with an idea that would change the world. I was trying to solve a problem that was much closer to home. I was a senior in college, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I'm sure that doesn't sound familiar to any of you. Wall Street recruiters and consulting firms were banging down our doors, asking for just 2-year commitments. But I was searching for something I wasn't finding, and I knew I wasn't alone. I'd become very focused on education. I felt the whole world was open to me because of the privilege of my own education, but I knew that this wasn't true for everyone, that despite our aspiration to be a land of equal opportunity, where children are born in this country still determines the educational opportunities that they'll receive, and as a result, their prospects in life. One day, my growing sense about what our generation was searching for and my belief in the importance of education came together. Why don't we have a national teacher corps that recruits top graduates to commit 2 years to teach in our highest poverty communities? Teach for America was a gamble on the idealism of the rising generation. But we quickly discovered that idealism is not enough. We spent our first few years constantly on the brink of collapse, operating payroll to payroll. If Teach for America were a novel, our first few years would have been Lord of the Flies. It turns out it is hard to recruit and select a diverse core of individuals who are ready to teach in our neediest schools. It is hard to provide them with the training and ongoing support necessary so that they don't just survive, but thrive with their students. It is hard to ensure that their experience does not disillusion, but instead empowers them to be lifelong leaders for change. Many of you are probably relieved to be done with your senior theses, but after a quarter century, I'm still working on mine. We still have a ways to go, but today Teach for America is making a greater impact than ever. This past year, 57,000 college graduates applied to our core, our biggest applicant pool in history. I want to give a special shout out to the 33 BU grads in the audience today who will be joining our 2013 core. And to the Teach for America alums who I just saw on my Twitter are here getting their master's degrees today. 2/3 of our 28,000 alumni are still in education today, working alongside many others in hot pursuit of a shared vision of educational excellence and equity. Hundreds of them are leading some of the most innovative and fastest improving schools and school systems in the country. Many others are working in policy, law, medicine, and social welfare to take on the many obstacles that keep our students from realizing their dreams. And we are part of an increasingly global movement. Today, Teach for America is inspiring progress internationally and learning immensely as part of the Teach for All network, where from Teach for China to Enseña Peru, teachers and alumni are pursuing our shared vision of educational opportunity for all. We are making progress today not because of a big idea, but because of a big commitment. Because we plunged in and embraced the journey of constant learning and improvement. This isn't just true of TFA. In his book, Little Bets, author Peter Sims observes that the most successful entrepreneurs of our time didn't start with big ideas. They discovered them by immersing themselves in an issue they cared about. And then they kept tweaking and revising, continuously adjusting their course based on what did and didn't work. Larry Page and Sergey Brin didn't set out to revolutionize the web. They were just Stanford graduate students trying to figure out how to prioritize library searches online. Once they founded Google, they didn't stop when they had a good search engine. Their drive to try new ideas, evaluate, and try again has allowed them to reinvent industries from advertising to publishing. This brings me to myth number 2, that having an impact is about being first. I meet so many young people who are trying to make their mark by carving out their own unique niche. They want to start a new organization, invent a game-changing technology, be the first one up the mountain. I understand where that impulse comes from. As BU graduates, you walk in the footsteps of giants. Your fellow alums include the first American woman to earn a PhD, the first woman admitted to the bar in Massachusetts, the country's first black psychiatrist, and its first popularly elected black senator. Alexander Graham Bell was a BU faculty member when he conducted his experiments on the strange new concept of the phone. In a society that glorifies the pioneers, it is easy to think that an endeavor is only worth pursuing if you can be the first to pursue it. Yet, the people who have most changed the way we see the world and live our lives, from Einstein to Steve Jobs, all understood that innovation is not primarily about coming up with new ideas. It's about connecting good ideas to human needs, whether that means borrowing and adapting solutions that already exist or devising new ones. Our world needs more copycats. Bill Clinton says that when he was governor of Arkansas, He was always proudest when his state was the second to do something, because that meant that an idea could be replicated on a scale that would make a real difference in people's lives. It drove him crazy when he saw a good idea that wasn't being copied. A few weeks ago, I was in Mumbai visiting Gaurav Singh and the school he founded in the city's slums called 321. As a Teach for India fellow, Gaurav taught some of the most marginalized children in India, children growing up in dense shanty towns without basic sanitation or electricity. In a community where few of the parents are literate and more than 90% of students will drop out before graduating from high school, Gaurav knew that he had to do more. He was determined to create the first tuition-free school in India that would prove that children from the slums can excel at the same level as their affluent peers. But Gaurav didn't just go set up shop. He began by studying what exceptional schools in other countries were already doing. He spent a full year exploring 40 schools in the United States that are changing the lives of low-income students. He was voracious about building his own knowledge about what an excellent education looks like and how to provide it. I didn't want to waste my time reinventing the wheel, he told me, but focused on adapting what was working and innovating where I had to meet the different needs of my community. When he went back to Mumbai, he borrowed some ideas like the length and structure of the school day. Others he modified, like the math curriculum and the disciplinary system, and in a few cases he created his own model. After just 1 year, Gaurav has created a school where 4- and 5-year-olds who had never been exposed to English before could have a fluid conversation with me. I watched as one little girl stood up in front of her peers of 4- and 5-year-olds and taught the class in English. 321 is changing the life trajectory of its students. It is changing attitudes about what kids from the slums are capable of. Last month, 300 people, from local shopkeepers to police officers, showed up to watch the students in an end-of-year showcase. Gaurav plans to open 100 of these schools in the coming years. Pioneers are important. They spark our imagination by showing us what's possible. But if only one person ever breaks through and we fail to spread those solutions, what value is it to the rest of us? The people who ultimately make the greatest difference are people like Gaurav, who pursue impact, not invention. To successfully confront the enormous problems we face, we need to band together in mass efforts instead of starting 1,000 different initiatives. The final myth about changing the world is one I often hear from new graduates, that it's better to wait until you have more experience. Now, it may seem from where you sit that the impact you can have at this point in your life is negligible. But I'm a big believer in the power of inexperience. It was the greatest asset I had when I started TFA. If I had known at the outset how hard this was going to be, I might never have started. The world needs you before you stop asking naive questions, and while you still have the time to understand the true nature of the complex problems we face and to take them on. Consider the experience of Maria Zambrano. When Maria started as a freshman here at BU, she was sure that she was living the American dream. She'd been raised in an extremely low-income family in Bridgeport, Connecticut. She was the first in her family to graduate from high school. Her plan was to be a lawyer. But as soon as her college classes started, she realized just how far behind she was. She'd been a straight-A student in high school, but now she was struggling just to pass. And she discovered that her classmates who came from neighborhoods like hers were in the same boat. So when she joined TFA in 2006 to teach English as a second language in East LA, she was determined to be the teacher she'd never had, someone who understood what it felt like to grow up poor, who would talk to her kids about college and hold them to the highest expectations. She did incredible things in the classroom, but she also realized how much more had to be done to ensure her students fulfilled their true potential. So today she's back in her hometown, where she's the founding executive director of Excel Bridgeport, which is tackling the problem of educational inequity from every direction, engaging parents, community advocates, elected officials, even clergy, to raise the standards and expectations for every school and every child. Now she knows the problem she first came face to face with on this campus goes deeper than she could ever have imagined when she started. But she also knows that enough leaders fighting together can completely change the prospects for kids in a school system most people had given up on. Maria doesn't want to be a lawyer anymore. She's found her life's work in education, and she's glad she started when she did, because she knows it is a long, long road ahead. So don't put your desire to change the world on hold. Start now and go forth in constant pursuit of learning and impact. I wholeheartedly agree with Anne Lamott, author of the wonderful book on writing, Bird by Bird. What people somehow forget to mention when we were children, she wrote, was that we need to make messes in order to find out who we are and why we are here. So go ahead and make big scrawls and mistakes. Use up lots of paper. As she tells us in those words, if you don't give yourselves room to explore by starting early, immersing yourself in an issue you care about, and embracing the iterative process, you'll never end up with your best draft. You may well not remember this speech 10 years from now, but I know that you'll remember the events leading up to your graduation. When you do, I hope you'll remember the promise that Jing Li made at the recent memorial service to her friend and your classmate, Lingxi Liu. We will keep running to finish the race for you, and we will try to realize your unfinished dream. Lingxi came to the US from her home in China to pursue her love of math and her dream of a broader world than the one she had known. She was one of 6,000 international students on campus from 150 countries who made BU one of the most internationally diverse and respected universities in the world, who made this a college that opens your minds and your hearts. The world came to you at BU. You saw its promise in classmates like Lingxi, and in recent weeks, you've seen its perils as clearly as ever. Now, as you go out into the world, I know that you will carry on BU's extraordinary legacy. We need you. Thank you, and good luck.
We now present the candidates for degrees.
Mr. President.
Provost Morrison.
Mr. President, I have the honor to call for the presentation of the candidates for degrees as recommended by the faculty of Boston University Schools and Colleges. Mr. President, as University Provost and Chief Academic Officer, I recommend that the Master of Arts in Mathematics be awarded to Lu Lingxi and that the Bachelor of Arts be awarded to Binlin Li, both degrees to be awarded posthumously during today's conferral of degrees. And to all the candidates for degrees, as your school or college or your degree are called, please rise and remain standing until all the schools and colleges have been called. Mr. President.
Dean Moore.
Mr. President, I proudly present to you the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Theology, and Doctor of Ministry as recommended by the School of Theology faculty. Mr. President, I proudly recommend to you the candidates for the degrees of Master of Divinity, Master of Theological Studies, Master of Sacred Music, and Master of Sacred Theology, as enthusiastically recommended to you by the Boston University School of Theology faculty.
Mr. President.
Dean Stecke.
Mr. President, I have the honor to recommend to you the candidates for the master's degree in social work and the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree in sociology and social work as recommended by the faculty of the School of Social Work.
Mr. President.
Dean Meenan.
Mr. President, I am proud to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Public Health, Doctor of Public Health, Master of Science, and Doctor of Philosophy as recommended by the faculty of the School of Public Health.
Mr. President.
Dean Antman.
The faculty of the School of Medicine are honored and privileged to present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Science, Masters of Arts, and Masters of Science.
Mr. President.
Dean Hutter.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Science, and Doctor of Science in Dentistry degrees as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Science and Master of Science in Dentistry as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. And, Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Dental Medicine degree as recommended by the faculty of the Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Dean O'Rourke.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees Juris Doctor and Master of Laws as voted by the faculty of the School of Law.
Mr. President.
Dean Waters.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science as voted by the faculty of the School of Hospitality Administration.
Mr. President.
Dean Coleman.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Education degree recommended by the faculty of the School of Education. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching and Masters of Education and Certificates of Advanced Graduate Studies as recommended by the faculty of the School of Education. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in Education recommended by the faculty of the School of Education.
Mr. President.
Dean Juarez.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Musical Arts recommended by the faculty of the College of Fine Arts. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for master's degree, graduate certificates, and diplomas as recommended by the faculty of the College of Fine Arts. And Mr. President, it is my privilege to present the candidates for bachelor's degree recommended by the faculty of the College of Fine Arts.
Mr. President,
Dean Zlatova.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the Master of Science, Master of Liberal Arts, Master of Criminal Justice, Master of City Planning, Master of Urban Affairs, recommended by the faculty of Metropolitan College. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor's in Applied Studies and the Bachelor's in Liberal Arts and the undergraduate certificates recommended by the faculty of Metropolitan College.
Mr. President,
Dean Waters.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Science, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Master of Occupational Therapy, Master of Science, and Bachelor of Science as recommended by the faculty of the College of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences, Sargent College.
Mr. President.
Dean Luchin.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Engineering and Masters of Science as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering. And Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science as recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering.
Mr. President.
Dean Fiedler.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees of Master of Fine Arts, Master of Science, and Bachelor of Science as recommended by the faculty of the College of Communication. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Dean Freeman.
Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy and Management and Doctor of Business Administration as recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Management. Mr. President, I have the privilege of recommending the Masters of Business Administration, the Executive Masters of Business Administration, the Masters of Science in Information Systems, the Masters of Science in Investment Management, and the Masters of the Masters of the Universe. The Masters of Mathematical Finance as recommended by the faculty of the School of Management. And finally, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for Bachelor of Science of Business Administration as recommended by the faculty of the School of Management.
Mr. President.
Dean Shapiro.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts, and Master of Science as recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. And Mr. President, last but certainly not least, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts as recommended by the faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, and by the authority of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts given to the trustees of Boston University and entrusted by them to me, I hereby confer upon you the degrees you have earned, together with all appropriate honors, privileges, and responsibilities, in token of which you will be granted diplomas. My congratulations to you all. Before you are seated, I would like you to salute your parents. Your accomplishments are built on the support of your family. Please turn to face them and acknowledge once again their role in you reaching this goal. Please be seated. The commencement ceremony celebrates the achievements of each of our students, but it means much more. It celebrates the accomplishments of a great academic community, a community where you have studied and worked together in classrooms, laboratories, and studios. It celebrates not only your accomplishments, but also the efforts of the faculty and staff whose dedication has helped lead you to this marvelous day. On your shoulders rests the enormous responsibility for guiding America and the world, and for addressing the substantial challenges we face. You are the future for this university, for this country, and for mankind. Among the graduates today are those who are commissioning into the armed services of the United States. You have chosen to dedicate yourselves to the protection of this country. This university is proud of you and gives you its sincerest thanks. Wherever your tours of duty may take you, Godspeed. To the class of 2013, as you leave Nickerson Field, you join a long line of Boston University graduates, stretching over time to include some 300,000 living alumni of this great institution. Your accomplishments will be part of the fabric of our legacy. Your Boston University education has prepared you. Go into the world and make it a better place for all of us and for all generations. Again, congratulations and good luck to you all.
Will all faculty members, graduates, and their guests rise as Miss Stephanie Gray leads us in the singing of Clarissima. Words and music may be found on page 103 of your program. Following Clarissima, please remain standing for the benediction.
Boston University, proud with mission sure, keeping the light of knowledge high, long to endure, treasuring the best of all that's old, searching out the new, our alma mater evermore, hail be you.
The Reverend Dr. Robert Allen Hill, Dean of Marsh Chapel, will now deliver the benediction. Following the benediction, the 140th commencement of Boston University will conclude. We ask that graduates and guests remain at their places until the platform party has left the field. Thank you.
'Tis a gift to be loving, 'tis the best gift of all. Like a gentle rain, love falls and covers all. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in a valley of love and delight. When true, simplicity is gained. To bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Let us pray. Spirit of love in life, prayerfully we thank you for the arms that embraced us when we were low, for the hands that carried our clothes to the freshman dorm, for the voices that encouraged us when we needed that word, for friends who reminded us of our better, our ownmost selves, for teachers who listened and then spoke formative words, for this great city of Boston, cradle of liberty, bright sails on the River Charles, a beautiful snowfall on the public garden, fireworks over the esplanade, and thy light, morning and evening, thy light, sunrise and twilight, thy light in which we see light. Thou who is loving us into love and freeing us into freedom, thou Spirit of love in life, prayerfully we give thee thanks for thy divine abiding benediction. Amen.